My name is Gina Dallison, and this is my Pecha Kucha talk, The Universal Gift. I would like to explore the idea of changing the way that we're given a diagnosis, which I believe could result in a very different, much more positive outcome. Rather than being given a terrifying prognosis, what if it was described as a universal gift, an insightful opportunity? This was me on holiday in 2009. I was 38 and my boys were 2 and 4 years old. I considered myself healthy, but this photo was taken about 4 months before I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune condition where the immune system mistakenly attacks the protective covering of the nerves, which is called myelin. This damage can cause communication issues between your brain and various parts of the body. In relapsing remitting, the patient experiences flare-ups, followed by periods of remission. I received my diagnosis in quite a gentle way compared to many that I've spoken to. It was while I was in a period of remission, so it was easier to take. However, I was told by my neurologist, there is no cure. It will get worse. There is nothing you can do about it. And if you or anybody else that you know has ever been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, chances are they would have received a similar message. It may not have been delivered with such an impending sense of doom, but nevertheless, it would have been received alongside a big dose of fear. And when we experience fear, our fight or flight response is triggered. Hormones are released, directing all our energy to parts of the body that are required to fight the threat or run for our lives. The autonomic nervous system takes control. As the focus is concentrated on this immediate threat, it takes energy away from the maintenance and repair of the immune system, which means that when we receive a diagnosis in this way, our body is not in a good place to heal. And it's interesting to know that when we are told something by a figure in authority, we tend to believe it as true. And that was certainly my experience. The statements the neurologist gave me were now planted firmly in my belief structure, and it never occurred to me to question anything that she said. I had allowed my power to be transferred to a very well-meaning, well-qualified professional who had had years of training in Western medicine and very little in nutrition or the mind-body connection. She also knew very little about me, my life, habits, and experiences. I did, however, follow her advice. I injected myself weekly with a strong immune suppressant drug and carried on living exactly the way I had before. Things seemed to be going okay in relation to my MS and stayed in remission for about 5 years. And this is me 5 years later. MS is described as a snowflake illness, meaning that no two people experience it the same way. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, balance, mobility and sensory issues, blindness, pain, fatigue, and brain fog. And it's not unusual for people with MS to experience depression and anxiety. My symptoms were originally severe numbness in my feet, legs, and hands, making driving challenging and even holding a pen difficult. During 2016, I started noticing more subtle but worrying issues in the form of drop left foot, heavy clunky legs, balance and bladder issues. It was then I began my own research. And it didn't take long for me to discover that what my neurologist had told me wasn't true, not for everyone. There were many examples of people who were living symptom-free after a diagnosis without having to take a myriad of drugs. And it turns out there is a lot I could do about it. Many things were within my control. what went into my body, what went onto my body, my environment, my mindset, what exercise I did, my stress levels, my relationships, my beliefs, to name just a few. So I began to experiment with diet, starting with totally avoiding processed food and then removing dairy and saturated fats. I upped my exercise and, most importantly, made meditation a daily practice, which strangely I found the most challenging, but also the most rewarding. This started me on a very spiritual journey, and I began learning about the law of attraction. My beliefs were shifting, and I recognized that I really wasn't happy, particularly in my job and relationship. My dad was dying, and my world felt like it was crumbling. My MS flared. They say our biggest challenges do create our biggest growth opportunity. And I recognized the one person that could do anything about my life was me. I ended my relationship, left my corporate role. Me and the kids moved back in with mum. And for a while, this was my only mode of transport. Having MS eventually pushed me to get really honest with my life, take stock of where I was and where I wanted to be. It also led me to see the world through a very different set of eyes, which gave me the courage and strength to follow my dreams. But I wonder how easier things might have been if my neurologist had a better understanding of how diet and lifestyle affects our health, of how our beliefs affect how we feel and behave, and also how our doctors' beliefs can affect our ability to heal. How would it be if we looked at illness as a universal gift, a signal, an opportunity to embark on an inner journey of self-exploration? How amazing would it be if our doctors supported us on this journey rather than just offering us drugs? Thank you for listening, and let me know if any of that has triggered anything and you want to talk about it further, because that is definitely my truth. I do believe that it is a gift, and if we see it that way, then our world becomes a very different place. So my name is Gina from Gina Dallison Coaching. Let me know in the comments below if you want to talk about any of that.